Sea otter has no subcutaneous fat. It doesn't have a layer of fat protecting it from the icy tides that completely engulf ships. Instead, it is covered with the thickest fur of any animal on Earth, almost 1 million hairs per square inch. And yet there is a tragedy behind the tenderness. For centuries, people have hunted them because of this wonderful fur. By the 1900s, they had been virtually exterminated. From millions to hundreds, their fur, which once protected them from the cold, has become a means of expressing greed. When the last of them disappeared from Alaska and California, the algae forests also disappeared. The ocean has lost its lungs. In the cold, steel-gray waters of the Pacific Ocean, where fog blurs the line between sea and sky, swims one of the most paradoxical creatures of nature, a sea otter. For most, she looks cute, playful, and even harmless. But behind those bright eyes and soft fur is an organism created as a biological miracle, a survivor in the ocean that mercilessly kills. Each hair holds a microscopic bubble of air, forming an insulating suit more perfect than anything human science has ever created. The air retains moisture from the outside and heat from the inside. And every day, the otter spends hours taking care of itself, brushing, biting, blowing, combing every strand. Because even if there is no air gap in a small area, the cold will penetrate inside and kill it. But the fur itself does not characterize the sea otter. What really makes it unique is its role as an invisible pillar that supports the entire ecosystem. When the otters disappear, the algae thickets also disappear. And when the algae disappears, the coast dies. It's a simple but cruel ecology. Otters eat sea urchins eat algae. Without otters, sea urchins breed, exposing the seabed like locusts. The ocean becomes quiet and deserted. But where the otters return, life blooms again. His body is a precise instrument. The jaws are small but incredibly powerful, crushing shells that could defeat most predators. His paws are like instruments, fast, flexible, surgical. The sea otter is one of the few animals that uses tools. A favorite stone hidden in a fold of skin under the arm serves as a hammer or anvil. Each otter keeps its stone as a treasure, carrying it for months and sometimes for years. It's not an instinct, it's a memory, a habit, almost a culture. Take a closer look, and the anatomy becomes even more bizarre. Under the skin of its paws there are special folds with nerve endings capable of detecting the smallest fluctuations of water, the pulse of prey hiding under the sand. He can feel movement with his fingertips, even when vision is useless. When he dives, his body transforms. His nostrils and ears close completely, his heartbeat slows down, and blood drains from his limbs to conserve oxygen for his brain. It can dive for 5 minutes, reach a depth of 200 feet, and then surface again, leaving behind a cloud of bubbles and silvery fur. But there is something more human hidden behind all this biology. Watch the sea otter mother and her cub. She swims on her back, holding her cub on her stomach like on a raft. She takes care of him, feeds him, rocks him to sleep. When she has to dive for food, she wraps the baby in seaweed to keep it from being swept away by the current, a blanket woven by the sea itself. And when storms start, otters build rafts by connecting their paws with floating chains so that the waves cannot separate them. They sleep like that, paw to paw, heartbeat to heartbeat. Today, the sea otters have experienced their own apocalypse. Gradually they return, fragments of populations clinging to the coast. But even now, death awaits them in more sophisticated forms. Oil spills cover their fur, strip it of air protection, and condemn them to freeze in waters that are hardly colder than our own blood. No other creature demonstrates our influence so clearly. One drop of oil on an otter's skin, and the whole empire of life will collapse. Nevertheless, they persist. Scientists call them ecosystem engineers, creatures whose presence creates worlds. Where otters thrive, fish return, algae grow, and seabirds build their nests again. They are the invisible guardians of coastlines, holding the breath of the ocean in their tiny paws. And somewhere in the depths of that little skull lies another mystery. Otter brains show neural pathways associated with problem solving, communication, and even cooperation more advanced than those of most carnivorous animals. They recognize voices, share places to find food, and pass on their skills from generation to generation. In them we see the roots of culture, empathy, perhaps even wisdom. There's something clever about the way the otter looks back at you. The spark of awareness is not just survival but also understanding, as if she knows that she stands on the border of two worlds, one ancient and wild, the other carefree and human. And in this fragile space between them he continues to float, keeping the surface intact, the air trapped, the warmth alive. The sea otter teaches something profound. Strength is not cruelty and survival is not domination. It's a connection. This is trust. It's a quiet challenge to hold hands during a storm. Support our channel, and I promise to tell you more stories about the hidden defenders of life, those who maintain balance while we look away. Every like, every post, every mention is just another bubble of air that keeps them and us from drowning. And maybe, like sea otters, we're also just trying to hold on, not to drift apart in the cold, endless sea of time.